Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin Muhammadin sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The topic for today, it is very important. Yeah, it's about kufr. How many times have you heard people saying that he's kafir, right? A lot of times, yeah, especially from certain groups of people who thinks that they're the most righteous person of all. And this is something in which you have to understand the hadith that Prophet Muhammad said, if you point out to them, the rest will come back to you. If this person is not actually a kafir, right? And it comes back to you that you yourself are a disbeliever. Yeah. So it is important that we truly study today's topic about kufr, right? The different types of kufr that we must understand. What does kufr mean in Arabic? You know? To cover. To cover or conceal. It's Arabic terms, right? Now, in the Sharia terms, look at this explanation by one of the scholars. Is from Ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah, yeah, Sheikh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, who said, yeah, in the terminology in Islam, it means not believing in Allah and His Messenger, whether that is accompanied by a denial or it is not accompanied by a denial, but rather doubt, or turning away from faith out of jealousy or arrogance, or because one is following whims and desires that prevent one from following the message. So kufur is the attribute of everyone, yeah, who rejects something that Allah has commanded us to believe in after news of that has reached him, whether he rejects it in his heart without uttering it or speaks those words of rejection without believing in it in his heart, or he does both. So it doesn't matter whether you act upon it or you just show it or you speak about it, is a sense of kufr, right? Um, or he does an action which is described in this text as putting one beyond the pale of Islam. Oh, this is called that. Yeah. So this from Ibn Taymiyyah rahimullah regarding kufr, right? So technically, when Allah revealed in the Quran, is it clear? Right? The do's and don'ts is quite clear, right? We talked about just now about zina, about having girlfriends, about LGBT, about cheatings and lyings. Yeah, everything is quite clear. The do's and the don'ts about the food, what we can eat, not we cannot eat. Yeah, about the prohibitions about alcohol, gambling. Everything is quite clear in various parts of the Quran. Added to it was the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yeah, but there are people who disbelieve in the hadith, right? They call themselves as a Quranis. And you have to be very careful because it's part of the science of kufr, right? So the following 12 beliefs or actions are found in a person who is a kafir. 12 actions or beliefs, yeah? And this is something in which we do need to really understand, yeah, because perhaps we may be one of those. Now, the hadith from Muslim was about a person who pointed, he's a kafir, right? So Ibn Umar anhu reports that Prophet Muhammad said, any person who called his brother, oh unbeliever, oh kafirun, has indeed, has in fact done an act by which this kufr would return to one of them. If it were so as he, the accuser, asserted, the kufr of the accused would be confirmed, but if the kufr was not true, then it returned to him. So it turned back, so if he's not a kafir, right? Um, so we know that kufr is of two types. One is the amal, which means the actions, and one is the belief, yeah, i'tiqadi, yeah, that we must understand. So these are the 12. So before we talk about kufr, let's talk about tawheed. What are the three branches of tawheed again? Rububiyyah, which means oneness of Rabb, right? How do you elaborate this? For example, Iman, what is our Rububiyyah? In what? In terms of what? Rabb. Rabb means no. creator, maintainer, sustainer, the one who protects, right? So it is quite important that if you want to do da'wah, you need to understand what is al-rububiyah, right? Which means if somebody believes in the horoscopes, right? Horoscopes? What is horoscopes in Arabic? Najm, yeah, the Capricorn and the. Do you have in Saudi and Yemen? Right? So for those who believe in the being lucky, right? Even you have to be careful, right? Iman, if you think that, let's say you are a doctor, right? Because of me, these people are able to have surgery in Palestine, for example. I'm the one because I'm there. That's why they are able to get treatment. And this is part of shirk of rububiyah because everything comes from Allah, right? That you must understand. Yeah. Well, some cultures took some of your cultures perhaps they have the amulet, tawiz, yeah, in order to protect themselves. Right? Surprisingly, even all the Saudis believe in wearing some of these things, the bangles to protect themselves. Yeah. Some people in the gym was tattooing the word Allah to protect themselves. I've seen it. Yeah. So all these are part of the opposition of Tawheed, Arabubia, which you must understand. Red color, Friday the 13th. Rubia technically means that everything happens with Allah's will. Nothing can happen without Allah's will. Everything, guidance, rain, and all this. Yeah. So very important to understand this. Next one is Tawhid al-Uluhiyah, which means oneness of worship. Right? You worship only Allah. This is al-Uluhiyah. Yeah. This is when when we went to Medina, you see some people facing the Prophet ﷺ's grave, right? In Egypt, you see the people, the Prophet's grandson, Imam Hussein's grave was full of people who was there to worship the grave. That's why it's prohibited, perhaps, by Prophet Muhammad ﷺ not to bury the deceased in the masjid, right? Because it ends up people go there just to be close to the so-called awliya of Allah. Yeah, and so we have to be careful in this. There's no intercessor. We worship only directly to Allah. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Only to you we worship. Only to you we seek help. This is Tawheed al-Uluhiyah. The last one is Tawheed As-sama wa sifat, the names and attributes. Right? We must understand this, yeah? The fact that Allah is above the seven heavens, not everywhere. And it's part of kufr. We're going to go through later, inshallah. Yeah. Now, so knowing all this tawheed, then we go through the 12 beliefs or actions that will lead to kufr. And you have to be careful with this. The first one, right? To disbelieve or disavow Allah's lordship, rububiyah, and singular right to be worshipped, uluhiyah, or the message of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, yeah, that means to dispute what he said, because there's some people who say, no, we only believe in the Quran, right? Or to claim that any messenger came after Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is the first one. Musallama al-Kadhab. Who's Musallama al-Kadhab? Yes, this one. Another one is Al-Aswad Al-Ansi, Yamani, of course, right? Yemen has a few problems with the Tawheed in early days. The Abraha comes from Yemen. There are problem issues with Tawheed, right? Young people, right? But Alhamdulillah, of course, Iman, of course, is from Allah, but if not for them people, we in the Southeast Asia wouldn't become Muslims. Because through the trade of the Yemens, they came here to Indonesia. And everybody were Hindus in those days, but they became Muslims, right? So the first part is if anyone claims that they are prophet, that's it, right? Because Allah says in the Quran, He is Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam Khataman Nabiyyin. Surah number 33, verse number 40, right? He is the seal of the prophets. Again, if we dispute in any part of the Quran, it makes us a disbeliever. We have to be careful. Yeah, because Usama the liar, or subhanallah, the war was very difficult. A lot of people who memorized the Quran died because of, in the war, shaheed. Yeah. So this is the first thing, right? If you do all this, yeah, you classified as a kufr. Yeah. The next one, to deny, number two, yeah, to deny or reject any of Allah's attributes or names. For example, the all living, the all hearer. Because there are some people who deny that Allah has hands, Allah has ears, and they deny all this. Yeah. So it is part of a kufur if you reject Allah's names and attributes. Yeah. Or to add to them that which is not mentioned in the Quran or authentic hadith. That means to believe that Allah is not above the seven skies. Is it in the Quran? Yes, Surah number 32, verse number 4, and all this. Yeah, Allah said, really talk about Allah is above the seven heavens. Yeah. Um, or to say that He is everywhere or in everything, or to attribute any quality that is Allah's alone to man. Yeah, all these, brothers, in the Quran, one third of the Quran is about Tawheed. So everything that we need to know is in the Quran. For the first 13 years of the revelation of the Quran, everything in Mecca was about Tawheed except for Salah. Right? So Tawheed is so important that we must truly understand it so that we are able to obey Allah. So to the next question, to answer your question about this friend of yours who has problems, right? It is to make sure he understand Tawheed. If he doesn't understand Tawheed, then he can do whatever he wants. But he knows about Tawheed, surely he would really be able to obey Allah, inshallah. Yeah? So this is number two. Number three, setting up intermediaries between oneself and Allah, making supplications to them, asking for their intercession, and placing one's trust in them, calling upon the dead, asking them for help, or offering them gifts or sacrifices is all shirk. Is number three. Yeah? Sorry? Yeah, so all these people, right? Even in Malaysia, Usama, there's one so-called Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's descendants, right? Came, he was treated like a celebrity. Everyone to kiss his hands, right? But when he recited the Quran, Subhanallah, completely off. No tartil, no tajwid, completely horrible. How can you be somebody who people worshiping and you don't even know the Quran well? Yeah. So it's important that we understand because some people, especially the Sufi sect, for example, right? They think that the scholars or the imams have these special qualities that they will have to go through them first, right? In order to reach Allah completely, right? Against Tawheed. Yeah, when we say Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, right? We mean that we worship Allah directly. Yeah. So this is the number three, yeah, which we can see in many people, yeah, asking for intercessions and all this. Yeah. Always remember man dhalladhi yashfa'u 'indahu illa bi'idhnih. That no, that whoever can seek his intercession, but with his permission. Allah only Allah can intercede. Even when Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam want to intercede for you and me, Allah said no means no, because Allah knows what's in our hearts. Yeah, that is why Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was very surprised that his ummah was prevented from drinking the al-Kawthar. Right? He was shocked. He was asking the angels, but this is my ummah, because Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't know what are the bid'ah that we are practicing today. And he was answered, you do not know what they invented after you pass away. Yeah. So this is number three. Also, number three, to give any of the creation that which is due to Allah alone, or to be pleased with being given worship besides Allah in any manner. Yeah. Or thus making or become a taghut. What is taghut? Yeah, false gods, false idols, right? Including your dunya, yeah, your work can be a taghut, celebrities, right? People are worshiping the celebrities, and they can be taghut. The false idols, footballers, very common, yeah. So you have to be careful, right? That you do not. What did Allah say in Surah number 2, verse number 257? What does it mean? Allah waliyul amanu. He is the wali of the people who believe. Yeah? From the darkness to the light. For those who take the Taghut as the awliya, yeah, then he takes them from the light to the darkness. Yeah. So this is important, yeah, because at the end of the day there are many people who worships other things like your credit cards, your career as your Taghut. You have to be careful to separate everything. So in a sense that brothers, if any one of us were to, for example, I'm not saying you, right? In your business, right? I don't care what it is. I want to get a lot of profit, yeah? Even though I miss my salah, and it becomes your tawhid. You worship your life and your culture and your business. Your tawhid. So you have to be very careful in this. There are people who does this, right? Ignore everything that Allah has prohibited in the Quran, right? And then you start to sell this at a small price. Yeah. So very important that we understand about Tawheed. Yeah. Number four, to curse, abuse the name of Allah, to deny or to revile Him or any of His messengers or prophets or angels. Right? Did the Shia revile some of the, what was it? No, the Jews, the Jibril, right? The Jibril, they don't like Jibril for whatever reasons. Yeah? Yes. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
say when Jibril was coming to the village, when they had the village, Ali was like,
Astaghfirullah.
no, I'm being honest, if you go to high court, you hear those stuff, wallahi.
They meet the target. We know angels can never make mistakes. Never. Right? Yeah, so this is number four. Yeah.
What's the reason behind?
I can't remember. Was it
Mikhail, I think they like.
yeah, the Michael is the archangel is Michael. Yes, yes, yeah. But I don't know what's the reason. Yeah, yeah, they believe in angels and all this, yeah, but different angels. That is a priority. Yeah, for ours, the main one is Jibril alayhi salam.
They're always different.
Sorry?
They're always different.
Yeah, even when we say Samina wa ta'ana, we say Samina wa sa'ina, different. They change everything, Iqbal, I'm sure you know. Um, Now, number five, to deny, stop, or reject any obligatory duty. So this is part of kufr, right? That is your salah, zakah, saum, hajj, kindness to parents, and all this, or to turn away from the religion by not learning or practicing its precepts. Right? So anyone who does this, oh, I can't be bothered to attend lessons because I know everything, right? Again, it's part of kufr because you refuse to learn about the do's and don'ts and halal haram of Islam, and very careful we have to avoid all this, because if we don't attend lessons, like this is where subhanallah brothers, I'm sure you know, right? Some people when they do salah, this is on Saturday's talk is this, what common mistake of salah, right? For example, in the coming to the mosque, Imam already started the salah. What do people do? They do the sunnah prayer at the side, right? Just because they think, oh, the Tahajjud Masjid is very important. It's completely wrong. We have to be careful. Yeah. People say Sami Allah liman hamidah and all this. You saw seen this, right? So many things that people are doing because they don't seek knowledge. They think, okay, praise just about this, right? Completely. Some of them, that, for example, we talked about the hadith when Prophet Muhammad was telling the person to pray 3 times, right? Because the reason too fast, because he wasn't in the correct position, right? I think it's in the bone did not rest, and he goes to the next position. Have you seen people who pray in this mosque, for example, like that? You have, right? And this invalidate the prayer. This is a huge thing, right? What is the most important? The first thing about the salah. What is the most important pillar before khushu? To stand. To stand, because my students ask, well, of course, their sisters, they ask, can I pray in the changing room, sitting down, because I don't want to be seen? What's the answer? No, because it's part of the pillar of Islam that you must stand up. One of the brothers, I won't mention names, right, because he was quite scared of the parents. He's a revert and asked me the same question. because I do not want to be obvious sitting down and or sitting and pray, and because my parents may caught me in a room. I'm sure you have the experience, right? Some they want to get caught. Said, can I pray sleeping, lying down? I said no, right? Because at the end of the day, this is so basic. You must know, and this is very important to seek knowledge, so that you know everything that you need to know about the obligations of Islam, inshallah. Yeah.
Sheikh, did Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam ever pray when he's traveling?
Sitting down.
Sitting down?
I think that was. I think either there's a war or something else.
Sometimes he used to pray his sunnah sitting down.
Yeah, sunnah is okay. Yeah.
So,
No, how about farz?
No, sunnah yes, but I always remember that what is the difference between praying sunnah sitting down and standing up? The reward. The reward is half.
For example, someone is traveling with the
Oh yes, that's different. Yes, that is when they call it in terms of emergency, when there's no, you're not in control of the vehicle, right? You're in either in a train or in a bus that doesn't stop. And you travel to Newcastle, for example. Yeah, then of course, yeah, there is exception cases. Yeah. And of course, sickness, of course, yeah, there's exceptional cases, but more, other than that, if you're healthy, you need to stand up. This is very important. Salam alaikum. Okay. Any questions? Yeah, is this number 5? Yeah. Yes. As I said, yeah, we talked just now in a vehicle, you got no control. But if you are driving, you can control your car, right? So you must stop and stand up. If you're in a bus or in a train that has no standing, remember when we were in a train, right? We prayed standing up because there was a space happening from Mecca to Medina, right? Because there's a space, you just stand up and pray. Okay, so when there's space, you must stand up. So even when you are sick, right? Not all sickness doesn't allow you to stand up, right? So whatever things that you can stand up, you stand up. You only, for those who completely cannot stand up because of some conditions of your knees and all this, then you can play sitting down. But sometimes you need to play half standing up, half sitting down, depends on your conditions, right? So it is important that we all understand. Even the Hajj manasik, right? You will find, we went to Umrah, right? People are doing things differently, right? Annoyingly, especially in the Indonesians are shouting here and there and all this, right? Disrupting your thoughts. They rub against anything, yeah, against the Kaaba, against the door, the Medina, they rub against the kiss their heads, many things that they are doing. Yeah. So you have to be careful that we learn and seek knowledge in order to understand about the manasik. The next one, yeah, a signs of kufr is to deem or to make permissible halal what is clearly forbidden. That is, for example, right? We talk about zina or having girlfriends. Is it allowed, Osama, to have girlfriends?
is Musira allowed?
Sorry? What's that?
Musira.
Can't hear you.
The wife of Musira.
You need to explain
Wife?
Uh,
The wife?
Musira is traveler.
This is Shia thing, is it true?
No, that's mut'a.
What is this?
Musira is different. You have shawahid.
So you have a second one, wherever you're gonna be in that time.
Is it with the intention to keep the wife? Do you know what I mean? Because it becomes like a mut'a, is it true?
No, mut'a is that.
Sorry?
That has no shawahid. Musira is different. You have shawahid witnesses and all.
Mut'a is zina. No, zina. You have, yeah. Yes, of course. That's the reason why they are traveling Iqbal, right? That
Majority of the people that we are.
there's a lot of people who go to Indonesia from Middle East, the nice mountain part, in order to have all this because they're on holidays. That's it. After that, they intend to divorce, right? So anyway, it's a different topic, but they have to be careful regarding this because unless you want to keep it permanently, it's okay. But you need to support the wife. Is it true? Yeah.
The tutor used to do that when he shower.
Who? Oh yeah?
is a great traveler.
Yeah.
So he used to marry every place he went and divorce them when he leaves.
I see. Just to make it halal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be careful about this. Yeah. Drinking alcohol, right? Some people making halal. It is for me personally. I mean, I know there's scholars who say this is if you have a zero alcohol is allowed and all this, but it doesn't matter. Alcohol is alcohol. You have to be careful in it. Yeah. Taking drugs. Hard. Right. Theft, murder, there's sorcery. Sorcery is quite a lot in many cultures. Right? Sorry? Yeah. So you have to be careful, right? Says who? But honestly, I've never heard of this. But I need to look into it, inshallah. Google me, inshallah. Right? Just gonna have magic, right? Harry Potter, right? Do be careful, right? Especially the children, right? Don't encourage them to go to see Harry Potter and all this. I don't know because it's part of shirk and all this, yeah. So anything to make halal or haram, yeah, it is part of that leads to kufr, yeah. There are people in Malaysia, Indonesia who marries about 10 wives and all this. Yeah, yeah. They're married 10 wives and all this. This is so they're making haram. What is halal?
They marry one every month.
Okay. Now this is number 6. Number 7, right? So there are 10. Yeah. The kufr is said to deny or reject any chapter, verse, or letter of the Book of Allah, or to purposely give it deviant interpretation in the Quran. So, for example, some sisters, Charlie, they said, "Oh, the word hijab doesn't mean head cover in the Quran." So a lot of people in America and all this started to take out the Quran because of the sheikhs told them that. I know somebody in Singapore who I don't know what studied. He took his masters or PhD in America, come back telling everybody, no, it's not obligatory, the hijab. Right, of course, the hijab in the Quran that wasn't referring to the head cover, it refers to the barrier, but other words in Arabic refer to the head cover, right? Khimar, Jalabia, and all this in chapter number 24. Yeah?
You know what's the funny thing here? Those who said like hijab not be mentioned in the Quran, they do not speak Arabic. So like, how did you know that the word hijab not mentioned in the Quran when you don't know Arabic?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of another
Yeah.
words which refer to hijab.
Yeah.
I hate them.
Yeah. So, for example, like in America, right, there is a female imam who was saying, Iqbal, she was saying, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, all praise and thanks go to Allah, the Lord of the world, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, the most gracious and most merciful. And she was leading this, and she wasn't even wearing proper cover, right? Man and woman together at the back, again not wearing proper cover, yeah. All this may lead to kufr. Now, it's very important for me to explain, right? Never say to anybody, he's a kafir, which is you hear quite a lot. You can say his actions may lead to kufr, right? So never label anybody kafir because he may not be you think he is, right? And then it may lead you to become kufr yourself, right? Um, so yeah, this is number 7, yeah? That means to deny or reject any chapter, or verse, or letter from the Book of Allah, or to purposely give it deviant interpretation that is not derived from Quran itself and authentic hadith, or according to established methods of tafsir. Abu Hurairah anhu, reported Prophet Muhammad said, "Do not pursue that which you have no knowledge of." Yeah. So do be careful about issues with alcohol, issues with gambling and all this, because a lot of people, for example, in Christmas, what's happening in parties now? You got the raffles ticket. What is raffles?
Is that like a luck where you dip your luck and then
Yeah, so everybody does pay something, and then you have a lucky dip and prize and all this. Right? Muslims are indulging themselves in this. In the first place, Muslims are not supposed to attend all these Christmas parties. Because some big companies do organize it, and if you don't attend, sometimes they would mark you, and they might not increase your salary, something like that, right? So they're so afraid that they indulge themselves on this Christmas party. So you have to be careful, yeah, about all this. Number 8, to openly show disdain, contempt for, or treat with horrible things the deen of Islam or its tenets, obligatory injunctions or traditions, to ridicule or deride them, or to treat Quran as a piece of garbage or filth, or to trample or abuse it as an insult. So, for example, right, we talked before many times. Some people just do not like the issue about cutting their hands for those who steal. It's in the Quran, right? Or the what Allah decreed upon for people to be stoned because of zina, right? It is Allah's law. It is the Sharia, but it's just a small part of Sharia. But it is the Sharia. So you cannot say, "Oh my God, this is so barbaric. You shouldn't do this." Even brothers, even these criteria very strict, right? So even for stealing, right, you need to know whether how was his wealth, was he, is there anybody, if he cut his hands, who's going to support the family? All these are taken into consideration, even for zina, right? It's not just about stoning anybody who is zina. There must be four witnesses who saw the acts of penetration, saw the acts, not about hear something, but must see. Right? And it's very important, it's very strict. Even in the time of Prophet Muhammad, somebody came to Prophet Muhammad and admitted or confessed, I did something, right? And he turned the face the other side in order not to know what did he do, because what did he turn the face the other side? What did he say to the person? No, he said something like, Allah has hidden your sins, right? So you shouldn't expose your sins, because once it's exposed, the punishment of the Sharia will have to come through you. Right? So it's important that we understand, yes, the punishments are there, it is from Allah. You cannot replace it with something else if you are following the Sharia. But you shouldn't belittle Allah's punishments and reject it as barbaric and all. It's from Allah. Right? You do need to accept this. Yeah. Um, So for people who refuse, we discussed many times about people who refuse to follow the surah or the ayah or regarding the when your husband died, you need to be in the state of either for 4 months and 10 days. Which surah again? 2 verse number? We just discussed yesterday. 2, 3, 4. Right? 4 months, 10 days. A lot of people, especially the Asian side, they ignored all this, right? And in that sense, you cannot even go to the grave to accompany the burial, right? Because you're in the iddah period. The secondly, women in that day period of mourning, they should not be in the grave because they're more emotional usually than the women. Yes, so you shouldn't go to the grave. Perhaps the next few days, perhaps you want to go. Yes, yeah. So there are many people who look at Allah's Sharia as something which is barbaric or backwards. Subhanallah, right? We must be, if we do this, we consider it as a shirk and a part of the kufr. Yeah. Number 9, to disbelieve in the resurrection, punishment, or goodly reward on the day of reckoning, or that punishment and reward are only abstract, symbolic, or spiritual. Everything that we do will be judged and will be rewarded or punished. What's the last Iman? What's the last verse of the Quran that was revealed? Last verse that was revealed. What's number? No. Shari, you know? Do you know? Are you? Last verse. Last verse was very important. 281. What is it? وَاتَّقُوا يَوْمًا تُرْجَعُونَ فِيهِ إِلَى اللَّهِ ثُمَّ تُوَفَّى كُلُّ نَفْسٍ مَا كَسَبَتْ وَهُمْ لَا يُظْلَمُونَ. Be afraid of the day when you shall be brought back to Allah, then every person shall be paid for what he has earned, and they shall not be dealt with unjustly. Everything will be on the day of judgment. And all of us must truly understand that why okay, there is this thing that when you do things, okay, why do you want to do good deeds, Iman? Okay, other than that, okay, other than that, any more? Yes. The purpose of life, yes. But you do deeds in order to get the reward. Because rewards are quite important, right? Because Al Mizan will always be there waiting for us, whether we like it or not. How big is Al Mizan? Almost there. It is unmeasured, but there is a hadith, right? It's bigger than the seven heavens and the earth. One side, right, is huge. And therefore, when Prophet Muhammad saw that, and he asked, "Who is this for?" And it was answered, "It was for those whom Allah wishes to have all this reward." There will be people who will mountains and mountains of good deeds. Yes, subhanAllah. And again, of course, good deeds are very important. The good deeds are important not because of our entry into Jannah, but because of mercy and also the rest of because there's 100 levels. Yes, right. So, for example, inshallah, right, Abdul Aziz, your memorizing the Quran, inshallah, will lead you to Firdaus, inshallah, right? And that's why you aim for, right, to do good deeds. There are rewards for everything, right? Not only that, the good deeds will allow you to cross the sirat quickly. Yeah? Your dressing on the day of judgment. Are we going to be dressed? In the initial place, no, right? But we will be dressed after that, because how can you appear all out naked? You need to be dressed in the best way.
What's the reward for memorizing Quran?
Every verse that your level will depends on the level that you memorize the Quran in one hadith. So the more you read, the higher you get to different levels. Yeah, yes, you read the Quran. Yes. So the more you read with memory, of course, the more inshallah you will get higher you get, inshallah. Of course, it's one not the only way, one of the ways to get to high place. What do you think? Not only that, Jannatul Firdaus. How can you get Jannatul Firdaus? Qad aflaha al-mu'minun. The whole thing from Surah number 23, 1 to 11, right? What is the first one? Alladhina fi salatihim khushu', salah with khushu'. Walladhina hum Allah mu'ridun, they will control the tongue. Walladhina hum li zakati fa'alun, this zakat. Then furujim hafidhun, right? They will control the private parts. Then you can say, right? Don't change. After that, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِأَمَانَتِهِمْ وَعَهْدِهِمْ رَاعُونَ. Those who are able to do the amanah.
Like something given to them.
Yes, and like your children is amanah, is it true? Right? And then وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَلَى صَلَاتِهِمْ يُحَافِظُونَ, who protect the salah. Next verse, أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْوَارِثُونَ. These are the inheritors of what? الَّذِينَ يَرِثُونَ الْفِرْدَوْسَ هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. So if you want to know how to go Firdaus, look at Surah number 23, verse number 1 to 11, inshallah. Right? And it sounds simple, but it's not, as you know. Yeah. Okay. Number 10. To say that the righteous awliya are above the prophets, right? Or that some of the righteous are exempt from acts of worship prescribed by Islam according to the Sunnah of Prophet. Now the Sufi say that the Sufi master, right, this is what I heard, are so high in the eyes of Allah that they do not need to pray. The highest of the Sufi master, right? They don't need to pray because they're already in their position already. Awliya of Allah, right? And so this is one of the things, right? To say the righteous are exempt from acts of worship. How can it be when also وَمَا خَلَقُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ? Right? It applies to everybody. How can you say when you read the Quran, Allah says in Surah An-Naml 2 verse number 238, حَافِظُوا عَلَى الصَّلَوَاتِ وَالصَّلَاةِ الْوُسْطَى. Guard strictly your prayer, right? Especially the middle prayer. And inna salata tanha fasha al-munkar. And 4 verse number 103. 4 103. Inna salata kana al-mu'minina kitaba maquta. The prayer has been established on the believers at fixed hours. Right? All this in the Quran. If you believe in the Quran, you need to do this for sure. Yeah. Number 11. This is very important. To rule or judge by other than what Allah has revealed. This is of different types, and ruling differs depends on the beliefs and actions. Whoever rules by others, this is where democracy comes in. Democracy, and or we call it also the in Turkey the secularism. What is secularism?
Religion have a picture.
Yeah, so well, religion is very private, right? You only rule by your secular law and all this, right? So don't forget about all this riba and all this, you do bankings and all this. Same thing is democracy. Democracy, you rule by the law of the country, not the law of Allah, right? So you have the LGBT marriages and all this, legal in many non-Muslim countries, yes.
Say the person rules by other than Sharia law,
Yes.
is that major or minor?
If you are, okay, let's say, and inshallah, right? Let's say UK is a Muslim country, right?
One day.
Inshallah, don't smile, not just Yemen, right? We have a green flag there. No, not cross, sorry. Then if you still legalize gay marriage, then something must be wrong, agree? What your question again?
Rule other, by other than
Yes.
Sharia law, is that major kufr or minor?
It's a major, right? Because it's Allah's law. All this part of a major kufr, right? That we have to be careful. So Singapore is a majority non-Muslim. But when anybody, for example, inheritance in terms of death, everybody will automatically go to by Sharia ruling, automatic, no questions, right? So, sorry? It has been established a long time ago that Muslims have their own law in terms of inheritance, marriage, and divorce and all this.
Is it the same here?
No.
So what about the, like, for example, because obviously in Singapore we have the Chinese.
Yes.
So are they also ruled by the Sharia?
No, they have their own law. So only the Muslims well, usually in our ID card is a religion, Muslim or this. So you need to have this in order to have it, yes, entrenched into our, alhamdulillah, our system. So you don't need to worry that everything must be ruled by Sharia law, right? So it is important that we maintain the Sharia because I can't imagine those people who somehow are against the Sharia, right? Again, the West are all saying that they're always harping about stoning and cutting hands. This is just a little bit of Sharia law, right? The rest about being good to neighbors, yeah? Having brotherhood in Islam, all part of Sharia law, which we must understand. Yeah.
When you see those countries that are in Sharia, look at the crime rates compared to
Yes.
those that don't have it.
Our
Yeah.
has gone down to zero, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
When we had democracy, we had
Yeah.
things happening.
Yes.
You know, some people are fans. They can't remove this democracy.
Yeah.
You kill someone and then you go to jail for like 10 years, you come out and then
Yeah. Yeah.
it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Now, mashallah, you can have 10 million pounds in a see-through bag,
Yeah.
roaming around 2 a.m. night in
Safe.
the middle of the city.
Yeah. Yeah. Alhamdulillah. In Singapore, Abdulaziz, if you're caught with, I think, 2 grams of drugs, death penalty. Yes.
Oh, so you're from Singapore.
Huh?
That's from Singapore.
So there's no Albanians in Singapore. Yes. So, but as same as Afghanistan, Alhamdulillah, very safe.
We have no drugs now.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah.
The drugs were,
Alhamdulillah.
that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
also
alhamdulillah.
by the West.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
was the biggest exporter of
Yes.
heroin and
Yes.
I think opium in the world. But when America left 2 years ago,
Yeah.
the Taliban, they just stopped all of it.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
eradicated all of it.
Yeah. Subhanallah. Was it?
In 2 years, inshallah, Yemen will be like that.
Who?
No,
No, no.
Yemen.
No, God, come on, man.
That is dreaming.
Okay, last one. This is part of disbelief, right? Kufr, to support or aid the politics against the Muslims. What happened in Spain? It used to be Muslim, right? It's flourishing in Andalusia, right? Now you can see the remnants of the mosque in Cordoba, right? And the castles in it should go. It's a very nice place, alhamdulillah, right? But the fact was that it was ruled by the Muslims, and then the Christians and other Muslims do not like the Muslim ruler. They combine and then they tried to defeat the Muslim rulers, and Allah said, out. All the Muslims were driven out. Everyone was driven out. In fact, every year they would celebrate, I think it was in December or November, the date that the Muslims were driven out. Every year they celebrated in Andalusia. I was there, I happened to be there. Yeah, to see the parades and the marchers and all this. Yeah.
Did they celebrate with them, Sheikh?
Sorry?
Did they celebrate with them?
My wife was in hijab. We were so scared. And I'm just. We just happened to be there. We didn't know, right? Okay, of course, kufr can also divide into kufr akbar and asghar, right? Which means minor and major kufr, right? What is difference?
The Akbar take you out of the Islam, the Asghar to the
But if you die in the state of kufr, would you be in hellfire? Major or minor?
Yes.
Both?
Yeah. Both, yes.
He said, I'm a lawyer. I'm trying to put doubt in him. But and he fall into this trap. His eyes looking at me. Yes, if you put you into hellfire, the difference is that?
You both go to hellfire.
The difference?
One is
One is forever. One is with Allah's mercy. Yes, it will be taken out. But still, subhanAllah, hellfire is well, the height of it is 70 years of going down. You're still going down, not reaching the ground yet. The food is zakum. One drop of zakum, it falls on the earth, the whole earth will be destroyed. Right? And the drinks will be passed and boiling water, which will tear your intestines. So even a few seconds there is not worth it at all.
How many angels are today in our society?
19, I think.
19, yeah.
19, yeah, 19 angels. Right? These are not normal angels, they're huge angels. Can you defeat 19 people?
And humans will be like 10 times whatever they are.
Much more than that. Right? Remember we talked about the morality of a disbeliever? Is Mount Uhud. There's a molar tooth. Yeah. So Allah will make it bigger so they are more. The pain is felt much more with a more surface area. Now, this is very important. The next part of what I'm going to discuss. What are the pillars of kufr? This is from Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah, subject about the 4 pillars. That means if you have this pillar, it's difficult to get out of this, right? What are the 4 pillars of kufr? The first one? No. But what shirk is what you have, but what does a person have to be kufr? Arrogance, right? Arrogance. That means you refuse to change because, well, I'm in London anyway, right? Why should I wear hijab or why should I do things because it's so hot in summer, correct? So you like to do the parks, right? Because so everybody have their own ideas about what to follow and what not to follow. When we discussed just now before the talk, right, about the fact that Islam is complete submission to Allah. It's not up to you and me to decide what to submit and what not to submit. So the first thing that will pull you all the way down is arrogance. That was how Iblis, right, fell into the trap of being, oh, I'm so pious, I'm made of fire, I'm much better, why should I bow down? This is all arrogance, so you have to be careful. Yeah. The next one is hasad, envy, hasad. And this was how, for example, um, again, part of the reason why Iblis was having this so much hasad for Adam, the new creations of Allah, right? Next one is about Habil and Qabil, for example, right? About hasad. So we have to be very careful about hasad. Yeah, that means it will prevent you from receiving nasiha, yeah, from others. Yeah. The next one, al-ghadab, which means anger, right? This, when you're angry, what happened? Let's say you're angry with your children. How many children you have? Allah Barik, right? Um, it will prevent you from being just when you're angry, right?
I think so, Sheikh.
No, no, perhaps not you, but many people, when you're angry, you cannot control yourself, right? For example,
The Albani just arrived, Sheikh.
sorry?
The Albani just arrived.
Just kidding, it's okay. We talked about that before. Anyway. Charlie, for example, right? When you're angry with your wife, it may prevent you from acting justly, right? Because the wife is always, and this is where the culture comes in, right? Some cultures treat the wives as a maid, like a second slave, second class citizens, and all this. SubhanAllah, we have to be very careful. Even Prophet Muhammad SAW was advising us on his last sermon to be good to the wives, right? Yes.
So, with that one, with the wife, just would that come under a leader that's not just,
What do you mean?
like for example, you know, the people that will shade under the
Yes.
So you have the leader that is just,
Yes.
but opposite of that. Would that go under that? Because since you be the leader of that house, and you've been unfair to your wife.
Yes. You will never be under the shade of Allah if you're not just, right? Is Somalian leader just?
No, I don't know. That one probably not.
You're on this one. You're on video. Yeah. So now my